Hi everyone, John B. Man Saunders here again. I thought I'd give you an update on the wild colony cutout. It's one of them things where sometimes in beekeeping you can't get to sleep because you keep thinking about a hive that you should have been doing something to, and it's kept me awake, so I shouldn't really worry about all this stuff, but I don't want to lose this hive, so I've got an idea of how to give it a bit more chance to get through the winter, so I'll show you here now. This is what I got. This is a super for the polyhive. I didn't have one of these, I ordered it off of eBay. I could have used a eek from the same thing, but I thought if I'm going to buy something I might as well buy something that I can use for an eek and for a super later on, save wasting money and things. So this is what I got. I've painted it and I've made one of these out of a queen excluder. It goes in straight into that hole there. It's a bit tight and that's done on purpose, so I'll push that down in there. So I'll have that like that, a queen excluder, and then I'm having some paper. The paper has got little slots in it for the bees to get through to the sugar. They've got little slots in the paper there. After I've filled this up with sugar, I've got a polystyrene top. Then on top of the polystyrene top I'm going to put some insulation. I'll show you that. So the idea is to do this before I open up the bees, so that it is a bit chilly because it's 7 degrees, but I feel that I've got to do this and I'm going to do it quickly when I open the hive up. So I'll prepare it all now, and I've got these pieces of wood here. This is bee space, because these boxes, they've got top bee space, so it's very important that we have the bee space. So at the bottom I'm putting this to make sure that the sugar doesn't push down onto the bees, so they've got room. So this queen excluder won't squash the bees because it'll be pushing down on these pieces of wood, which is a bee space. That's going to be the hardest thing to do, is put them on. I'm going to put this fondant on as well, so I can have sugar and fondant. And this bit of fondant here, small bit here, I'm putting inside the hive, like that bit, and this bit is going onto here. Right then, I'm going to do this as quick as I can. I don't want to disturb the bees too much. There's my spacers. There's a bit of fondant there. Goes on there. Now, so I've got the spacers on there. Now I'm putting this queen excluder down on there. That's it. So it can't squash the bees now because they've got bee space. So I've got the fondant in there. Now I'm putting the sugar on top. It's going on top. Ooh, it's going on top of the paper. The paper's got holes in it. Right, now, so we've got the fondant under there, we've got the sugar on top. Now, as the damp comes up from the moisture comes up from the bees, as they create this cluster and the heat comes up and you get the droplets of water, it will go into the sugar then, and it will go a bit hard, the sugar, so it'll stop the water dropping onto the bees, and it's giving them some extra feed. So we've got 2 layers of paper in there first, so the paper will get moist. There's little holes in the paper, they can get to the sugar. So, and then there's another cover here, insulating cover, that goes on top of the sugar like that. And then I'm going to put some insulation on here now. I've got some of that insulation I use from the hives there, that one. That'll go on top of there. Yeah. And then this cover, see-through cover, then the lid. Right. What and everyone? I didn't need the smoker, did I? Look at it. That's a good old smoker, that. I didn't need it, but I got it just in case. When you go to do your hives, it's a good little tip from me, is light your smoker even if you don't think you're going to need it, because there's nothing worse. It's happened to me before in the past where I've opened up a hive and they've all come out and I've been stuck because I haven't had a smoker. At least you've got a backup then to help them to get back in the hive or anything, you know, just in case it does happen. So now I've got the 5 or 6 frames in there with not lots of stores in and not loads of bees, you know, quite a small amount if you remember seeing the other videos about the wild colony cutout. And so I've got a couple of pates on there, well, one pate, but a bit up there and a bit there. I've got that bit of sugar fondant on there. I've got the slab of sugar fondant above a queen excluder, and that queen excluder is purely to stop the weight and the sugar coming down onto the bees. And also it's got the bee space bits of wood that I put in there, and then above that we got the insulation, so any condensation in there now dripping down will not drip down on the bees, it'll go into the sugar. And so I think that's given them food, and it's given them a bit more warmth, and it's given them a bit more stores. So hope I'll be able to sleep properly now, not worrying about this one. We'll go home now and have a look at a couple of things I've been doing at home in the rainy season. That's the trouble, in the winter you've got to think of other things to do if you've got bees. You've got to go home and make things, haven't you? So let's have a look what I've been up to. Well then, as I say, here we are back home then. I thought I'd just show you these things I'm making up. I'm just making up a few of the frames, which everyone is going to have to do for the supers, to put all your lovely honey in. And nice and square, that's the most important thing. Everything's nice and straight, nice and square. And I buy mine from Beekeeping UK. They don't give me any revenue for saying their name, but it is not a bad company, I would say, for prices and everything, and they deliver. And so, you know, that's what I've been doing, making them. But what I wanted to show you was, on this year I'm going to be I've done it before quite a few times, but I'm going to be making cone honey. And I've got a normal frame here with a very thin starter strip there, and I will be dribbling on there some wax down there and some wax down there. And I'll be showing you this in the summer, how I'm going to achieve cut comb honey. I've done it before, but this way I'm going to do it this year is going to be a lot better. It's a bit like making queen cells. You have to have a large hive, reduce it in the amount of boxes on the hive, so there's a lot of bees in a small amount of boxes, and therefore then they go into the mode where they want to make loads of cone. So you put this on, and they draw it out very quickly because they're crammed in a small space. So, you know, I'll be doing that this year. And another thing I thought I'd show you is, do you see the way that I have my bees set up? I have it, it's called the warm way, having my frames in that way round to the entrance. We could turn this around and have them that way. This is, I call the cool way. So you've got the frames going that way. There's the entrance to the hive. So now the frames are all going this way instead of this way, how I have them. Right, the reason I have them this way is because I stand behind the hive and I take this frame out first at the back, and then I slowly work through the hive, right like this, all the way through the hive until I get to this one here. Whereas if you have them the other way round, you've got to be standing to the side of the hive like this and going through the hive this way round from the side and working through like that. And because my stands are quite long ones, the stand is in the way for me to stand at the side. I could stand at the back and do it awkwardly like that, but that is the reason I do it. Also, when you've got the wind and draft coming up through the entrance here, it blows into there, and this, it just stops the draft a bit blowing in. Whereas if you have it the other way round, like that, the wind blows through there and it goes through these frames a little bit easier. It's only a small difference, but that's why I do it like that. So that's the reason I have my frames round that way. I think you can do it either way really. It doesn't really matter too much. I've just made up this screen bottom board. I'm going to make a few of these up. These ones here that you get from Bee Equipment, they've got the landing board on them. They're quite reasonably priced, and it includes that board. So I quite like a landing board. The bees seem to like it, so that's why I like it. And I've just made this one up, and it's actually, all the joints are really tight. It's made quite in, you know, precision made, I think. I've only had to glue it and nail it together, and it is quite a good product. So these are quite good, and as well as the Varroa floor or screen bottom board, you've got the mite tray that you can slide in there quite easily, and you can take it out and leave it out, or put that in if you want to check the mites. Quite a good thing to have. They're easy to make. I've got these Chinese, these are the Chinese grafting tools. Pull that cap off like that, and you've got a little plunger here for getting the egg out of the frame. So I'll be showing you all that next year. It's a quite an easy way of doing queen rearing. Also, be about sometime in January, I'm hoping to do apibioxol on all my hives, and because I really do want to keep the mites down to minimal as possible. So I'll be doing that. I'll show you that on the video later on. I've got the fondant, loads of this to put on the hives. I put in January, the same time as the apibioxol, I'll be putting all this on there, and I'll also be giving them loads of this Pro Sweet pollen patties, and I'll be putting all that on the hives. So I want to give them plenty of nutrition. I want to keep them healthy against the Varroa. That's another thing in the spring. It's very important. And another good thing to get, everybody, portable refractometers is a good thing for a beekeeper. You can ask people at Christmas to buy one of these to find out the water content in your honey. So you want to keep it about 17 or 18 for your honey. So that is a good thing for people to buy for Christmas. So Well, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you all on the next episode. Bye then everyone, see ya. Thanks again for watching. Ta-da!